I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up, it's time to look.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Comment Riders. I'm your host, Josh Meek, the Uber Geek, and I'm joined as always by my good friend, Toby Tobes. What's up, Toby?
Not much, Josh. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'll say it up front before we get into nonsense. We're here to talk about Kamen Rider Geats episode 21. But Toby, it's been a while. I've been gone. Been jet setting.
I barely even noticed.
You missed me.
I did. It's weird. It's weird not talking to you and seeing your little voice pop up on Discord and my poor heart.
I was like, I don't know, sometimes when you're traveling and stuff, it's like you get out of your routine and like you're busy doing stuff. Like I was so tired. I'm like in Marvel Comics, the Avengers movie, the Hulk says like, that's my secret. Like I'm always angry. Then he turns into Hulk.
But okay.
So my secret as a father is that I'm always tired. Like if I sit down on the couch, I can fall asleep on it within minutes. I've adopted that dad energy.
Perfect.
So when you apply traveling with a toddler in like a sunny place where you are like swimming and doing a lot more like physical activity than normal, like I was like sitting down on the couch and like falling asleep by like 8:30 every night. Like I'd get the kid to bed and it'd be like, okay, and now I'm gonna sit down and like read a book or like
I'm going to bed too.
Yeah, nope, going right to bed too. And dear God, I'm gonna sleep until until that kid wakes up and then drags me out of bed. So yeah, like all of my like evening time where I would like talk to friends online and stuff like that was just gone for 2 weeks because I was just in bed by 8:30. So it was a weird.
Young.
It was a weird feeling.
So,
I'm so
Josh,
young.
Yeah, you sound like a young man with the story. So while you were gone, I was thinking about something.
Oh no!
my brain had free time to roam free and run around. So Josh, I have an important question for you.
I'm ready for it. Hit me.
What do you actually know about the story of Kingdom Hearts?
I know that it is Disney crap mixed with Final Fantasy crap. And I know that Mickey's there. Final Fantasy crap in that it's like Square Enix. Like I know that the Zora, is that the name of the character? Zora?
Go on. Zora, yes.
I know Sora isn't from Final Fantasy. I know that Sora is an original character for Kingdom Hearts, but it's Kingdom Hearts shit. Like it's like zippers and giant guns and stuff. I know.
That's a Nomura thing. That's all Nomura games, Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts and whatever else he does as well, but
and I know that they travel through the different Disney worlds because I know like whenever new Kingdom Hearts comes out, people are like, "Oh my God, they went to see the Little Mermaid," and everyone's so excited.
True. That's what we do.
Yeah. So I know that about it. I know that like Goofy is maybe Darth Vader or something, or maybe that was a meme. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure that's a meme, man.
Okay, then we've reached my knowledge. This is the extent of what I know.
So I'm going to read you a summary real quick. And then we're going to tell me if this lines up with what you know about it.
I'm so excited. Okay.
The game involves Sora being warped to alternate versions of past Disney dimensions in order to undo anomalies, threatening to destroy the entire Disneyverse. When in these dimensions, Sora is always dressed in different garbs or given certain items that serve as hints to his current objectives. He is told by a nameless figure that he is the key to solving all the anomalies that, if left unchecked, will destroy reality.
Yeah, it seems about in line with what I knew.
JK, Josh, that's all about a Kamen Rider show. It's literally Kingdom Hearts, the Kamen Rider show.
Wait, what?
Decade or Desdise or
Desdise? Or you just changed the name to Sora?
Yeah, I tricked you because I saw the plot summary and I was this is Kingdom Hearts, the Kamen Rider.
No, you're right. It is. Yeah, because when he shows up in the new place, he doesn't. Yeah, you're right. He doesn't know why he's there, but he has the clothes and stuff. Oh gosh.
Did you ever watch that one?
I love Decade. It's so good. It's so good, Toby. That's why I'm upset right now.
You're right. Kingdom Hearts is so good, Josh.
Oh my God,
so good.
You shattered my reality. Yeah. So Kamen Rider Decade was my first Kamen Rider. I think I maybe have talked about it on the show. And it's it's a weird first show to do because since they go visit all of these past Kamen Riders that I had no context for. So like if you were a big Kamen Rider fan, it's like, oh my god, he's in such and such town, or he's like going to see so and so. And me, I'm
Yep,
just
let's see
like,
the Little Mermaid. I agree.
yeah, he's in a new place. Yeah, it would be like playing Kingdom Hearts without knowing that Disney existed, which is what my experience with Kamen Rider Decade is. But Decade is very good. Like the character is also very good, and they keep bringing him back for things. Like they keep introducing him in like future seasons and stuff. Like he was in Kamen Rider Zeo for a little bit. Like he definitely is a recurring character in the Kamen Rider verse. But yeah, I hadn't actually like made that connection that it is just Kingdom Hearts.
I mean, there's no way you would have unless you
I
actually
guess
played Kingdom Hearts and
I
everything
guess
else.
Kingdom Hearts is basically an isekai, right? Like,
You can't
are
use
you,
these words.
are you familiar with what that is?
I know I've heard it before. I
Okay.
don't know what it means until you tell me, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I knew that.
That is okay. It's a reasonable thing to not know. So it is a new-ish genre of anime, where it's a character. The main character is from the quote unquote real world and gets transported into basically a video game. So like gets transported into like a dungeon crawler and has to go, save the maiden and kill monsters.
So
Gets
so
transported
like
into a
Hack
fantasy
Slash or
realm.
Sword Art Online or No Game No
Yes,
Life or all
absolutely.
the.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
all those. And like so they've been around for a while, right? Like the ones that you listed there, some of those are pretty old. But it's like exploded in popularity, I feel like recently.
Because
So
nerds.
yep,
Because
so now
nerds
there's
love their
like
games.
there's a zillion of them. And really like that's what Kingdom Hearts is, right? Sora is the like person from the real world esque who's getting transported into the Disney world and has to, figure out how to like, I don't know, bed Mickey or whatever happens in those
How
games.
do No, he has to fight the darkness, Josh.
Does anyone? So who is what's the darkness? What is the who's the overarching villain in Kingdom Hearts?
So technically, it's Xehanort, and he is like we'll call him like a bad wizard, basically. But
Okay,
to go all the way back and like all the way back in the beginning, it's basically like a tale of light versus dark, where it was him and his friend whose name is escaping my brain right now, where they love to play chess all the time. So at some point, the overarching story overlapped into like their chess game, Xehanort's and his freaking name. It overlapped into like their chess games in the beginning of Light versus Dark, and the light guy was like, "Oh, you can do it your own way, but you'll have to be evil about it," and blah blah blah. And then this turns into like the craziest adventure ever, where they just fill in backstory where they need to. But basically, like Zora and his friends Kairi and Riku are basically like we'll call them like the Holy Trinity is like kind of what they lean into, but not really.
okay,
And they all realize that they need each other. And then the other three are Mickey, Donald, and Goofy are like the Disney Holy Trinity. And at some point, you unlock moves that are called Trinity moves, and like they hammer the 3-person thing very hard. But somehow they turned like I think there's 11 or 12 games now, and somehow they managed to keep adding story where there's no story and making it legit.
like fleshing it out in different like spots.
Yeah, they're like, hey, this backstory you never knew about? Well, now, hey, here's this backstory. And then at one point, they added Aqua, Terra, and wait, whatever Earth is in like fancy Latin words. Aqua, Terra, and Wind.
Okay, yeah,
So like some version of those. So then they're like, hey, all these people were like the Special Trinity like 25 years before Sora was born, and they're still around though to help learn what you're supposed to do. And the whole thing is just like Sora's heart is supposed to be his power. Like he is the pure one to fight the darkness. And he yells his friends are his guiding light all the time. And it's crazy.
It sounds very serious for a game that stars Mickey Mouse.
It's deep. I have cried many a time with that game when the stories wrap up because there's like so many side characters that you learn. And that's where my not remembering people's names come from.
Yeah.
So this is where the Josh comes from, or where the joke comes from, Josh. So there's a guy in the game named Axel. And Axel's a big spiel is he's like the cool bad guy that throws fire, or like one of like the bad guys that throw fire.
Okay.
And his catchphrase is the name's Axel. Got it memorized. And for whatever reason, when I was playing them, the only name that came to my mind was Seth. And for months, I would just call him Seth because I couldn't remember. And when I thought about it later, in spite of the fact that he says, my name's Axel, got it memorized, I would still call him Seth.
Wow. You might have
And
a brain injury, I think.
I might. And then by the end, he was one of my favorite characters because eventually he went from a nobody, which is like someone that's like a shell of a human with like no heart, but maybe they have a heart.
Oh, I thought you were like literally describing what the concept of a nobody was to me, but now I realize it actually is a concept in the game.
Yeah.
Josh, a
So-
nobody is someone who no one knows.
Yeah. So when you're a nobody, they add an extra X in your name because you're part of like the
Metal.
bad,
Yeah.
part of the bad group. So his real name was Lee, but his nobody name was Axel because you have to throw the X in there somewhere. So some names work real well for this, like Lee to Axel, and some are like Zigbar and Xehanort and things like that, which are a little more ridiculous.
How if you so Lee Lee
Lea, Lea.
Lea, but then wouldn't it be like Lexa?
No, because you just move the letters around.
Oh,
Like
so
all these
you
people
can
have
shift the
remote.
letters. Okay,
Yeah. So like, I mean, your name sucks for it.
it does.
So it wouldn't just be like it'd be like this is Josh.
this is X Josh. Yeah, my name is terrible for all that. Yeah,
But the most important thing, and you have to hear me out here, and then we'll
I'm
stop
ready.
then we'll stop Kingdom Hearts talk and talk about Geats. So because it's a Final Fantasy game, it has some Final Fantasy characters in it and some ties to Final Fantasy. So there's one spell, Josh, in the history of the Final Fantasy verse that is the most powerful spell of all time, and it's called Zeta Flare. And apparently, like, kills the person if they cast it, and no one ever does it, and it's a big secret thing. Do you know who casts Zetaverse, Josh? Donald fucking Duck casts it at the end of the one game to save all of his friends. So Donald Duck is the most powerful wizard in the Final Fantasy verse, based off of Kingdom Hearts.
That makes sense to me. I mean, that's yeah. If you're gonna tell me to pick a Disney character who I thought would be reimagined as like the most powerful wizard, that makes perfect sense. I don't know who else I would pick. Like he's belligerent enough that it's the only thing that would make sense. Yeah.
And then the other highlight, and then the last Kingdom Hearts fun fact. So they always do have Winnie the Pooh Land, 100 Acre Wood,
Okay.
and like it's always adjacent enough to the story where it's just like a happy fun side thing where like you play like stupid Winnie the Pooh games, like float up in your balloon to steal honey but don't get stung by bees, like
Okay.
this level of adorableness. But in the second one, I think Pooh has this real weird like morality conflict where he's like, if I forget people, aren't they dead? Like, what do I do with memories when they go away? What happens if I forget you? And pretty much in every Pooh verse, I have cried at the end of the Pooh story because it's so goddamn adorable.
I mean, yeah, I think Winnie the Pooh can be very touching at times. I agree. Yeah. What's the boy's name who hangs out with Winnie the Pooh? The actual like
Robin?
Christopher Robin. Yeah. I could see Winnie Pooh. I could see a Pooh just like really breaking it down with Christopher Robin. Like, man, I don't know what's happening. What happens when memories leave my head? Am I murdering people? Like, you got to help me, Christopher Robin.
Yeah, it was sad. It was sad. And then when at the end of the last time you go to 100 Acre Wood, in one of them, they basically like end it on. It looks like the actual cover of the first book for Winnie the Pooh. What they put like 1930s drawn Sora holding Pooh's hand instead of Christopher Robin, and it's just goddamn adorable.
That's pretty cute. See, I just like, I just am not into Disney. Like I get that people are, and I I'm into lots of kiddie things. So it's not that it's like too kiddie for me or anything. But like growing up, I was never like that big into Disney stuff. So like, it just doesn't do it for me as much, really.
It is my mom's ultimate favorite thing ever. Like Disney
Okay.
World, Mickey Mouse, and all that. Like every year for Christmas, if I just get her like a new Mickey statue, that's good enough. And she
She's
probably
in.
has 1,000 at this point.
Nice.
But like, I think because of like the attachment there, I think I liked it more in general when all the dumb Disney shit starts happening.
Yeah, then that makes total sense. Like, and I know I'm in the minority here. Like, I know like the majority of people love Disney to death, and like, and yeah, it's weird because like I grew up watching Disney movies and stuff, like, but they just didn't hook me as much. And like, because I was even from a young age, like way more into like the video games and comic book characters. So like Mario is that for me. I am like in with Mario in the same way that other people would be with like Mickey. But I think I got really soured on Disney when Disney bought Marvel.
See,
Because
that's the joke I was just gonna make. We're
yeah.
like, for their 100, this is the 100-year anniversary thing. So they had a special around Christmas where like there was a big 5-minute intro to the Christmas special where like they showed throwbacks to like all the old movies and like little like characters in the stars like vibe things.
Mm-hmm.
So they went through like all the, obviously the ones that I knew as a kid and like even remotely adjacent getting older. But then there'd be like Captain America would be there, and then like Thor would be there, and like all this other dumb shit. And I was like, well, I guess that makes sense since Disney owns Marvel now. But I was like,
Yeah.
this isn't Disney. Like this doesn't seem right to me of what's supposed to be happening here.
They've absorbed them. Yeah. So like my relationship with Disney for the past like going on 20 years now is just taking the things that I loved as a kid, like Marvel and Star Wars, and just slowly making them worse. I was like, the Marvel movies, yeah, you're making way too many of them now, and like they're not as good as they used to be. Star Wars is just a shell of its former self. Like they've milked that franchise dry. Not that I even like loved Star Wars that much, but like my goodness, is there a lot of bad Star Wars now?
Yeah, I gave up on it a while ago.
Same.
And like
Yeah.
I've never seen most of, I'm not even most of, other than like the first 3 OG Spider-Man and the first 3 or only 3 Iron Man movies. I've never seen anything in the MCU. And I like to keep it that way. Like it just seems like it keeps getting worse. So like I've saved myself a lot of time, but like I'm that far disconnected from all that shit anymore.
Yeah, I've gotten to the point like when the Marvel Cinematic Universe started, like I was in like deeply, um, and I was in up until basically when Disney Plus launched and they started like bombarding you with TV shows, and I had no interest in like having to keep up with that many TV shows to give me like random plot points for Marvel movies by watching like characters I didn't care about. So like that took me out of it a lot of all the TV shows. And then now they have just been putting out movies that are bad, like The Eternals. No one wants to go see The Eternals. The movie looked like crap.
They basically ruined it. They oversaturated themselves.
Completely oversaturated. I did kind of want to go see Quantumania a little bit, but even that sounds kind of bad. I'm hearing from the previews, but yeah, it's crazy how much that has fallen for me from going from like 100% in there, at the very first showing possible to like, yeah, I probably won't see the new one.
I just don't care.
Yeah. I guess the part that's getting old, but yeah, I blame Disney.
As we all should.
Yeah, definitely. We can also blame Toei for, I don't know, not giving us more Kamen Rider.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Kamen Rider. Episode 21.
Episode
Thank
21.
Thank you for coming to my Kingdom Hearts talk.
You are into Kingdom Hearts. I like that it started as kind of a bit, and then it was just like you just being like, let me tell you all the things about Kingdom Hearts because I'm very earnestly into it. And that's adorable. It was very cute.
Well, I mean, the main problem is like when I'm on the fly trying to think of the plot points in all the games and all the dumb twists they do, like I can't rapidly recall all of them. So I'm leaving out a bunch and saying wrong names and things. But like,
you said there's like 12 games, right?
Yeah, there's like 12 games. There's like 2 or 3 cell phone only ones. There's a new cell phone one coming out with actual Kingdom Hearts 4. So there's no stopping.
No, and like when it's an RPG and like so an RPG plot is already so winding enough, and then you combine that across 12 different games where they're jumping back and forward in time and stuff. Like, yeah, there's no way you're gonna remember all that. Much like we're gonna try to remember the plot of Kamen Rider Geats episode 21 right now.
Let's go.
So to catch everyone up, we are fully ensconced in the reality TV era of Kamen Rider Geats at this point. The Desire Grand Prix is being watched by the supporters and audience in the creepy little TVs, and we get our first little taste of that for this episode when it opens with I'm going to call it a commercial for Kamen Rider Buffa, who is turning into a Giamato. So there's this weird commercial where he's just sort of screaming at the camera about how he doesn't really give a shit and he's going to kill all the Kamen Riders.
Yeah, it's like a crazy live blog where it's just like,
yeah,
like how they always had everyone else, like Kwa did his intros like that, and then Sumi had a couple when she was allowed to, and now like the opener for the throwback of last week's thing is Buffa just ranting like, "I'm still gonna kill these fuckers, don't worry."
Yeah, but it's still played as like entertainment. It was like, isn't this guy crazy? Like they're like, still putting overlays on the screen and stuff. It's all still sort of according to plan as far as the TV show wants you to believe, which is great. We get a couple big reveals here right at the very beginning. So we see the Giamato backer once again. She's the like kind of emo lady.
Loves her jelly beans.
Loves those jelly beans and like eats them very seductively. Like it's a little bit like
a little too
all
much.
Right, lady, in or out? Come on, what do we do? We find out she wants to steal the goddess of creation. So I watched a couple different translation groups versions of this episode. So first, the first translation called it the goddess of creation. Genim Corp called it the Genesis goddess. But it seems like basically the gist is if you control the goddess, then you have the power to basically rewrite the world as you want. So it seems like that is how the Desire Grand Prix functionally is creating the world in the vision of the winner each time. So that sort of gives a purpose to the Giamato backer and gives a purpose to the kind of Giamato as well.
That's what the crazy plant man is like, hey, let's make a cool, better world. I'm going to grow some plants.
What if we just had lots of plants that could murder people? That's my world.
The best plants. His world would probably be like just some like crazy giant ass greenhouse where like it's just like plants everywhere. He just wants to like chill, sip some like cool sweet tea and just soaks it all in.
That guy has a thirst for blood. Like whenever he's on the phone, you realize how truly unhinged that man is. I feel
he's just having a party. He's laughing. He's like, they'll be there. Don't worry.
He would get bored in just his greenhouse sipping tea. He'd have to like let humans loose and play the most dangerous game or something. He'd have to hunt. He'd have to hunt humans for sport. But we also find in this opening sequence that the Giamato backer has started forming basically an anti-Kamen Rider guerrilla team, as she calls it, and has hired Daiichi, who she's using as kind of like an advisor, basically. So if you remember,
Pidgey.
Yeah,
Pidgey.
Exactly. So he was our former Kamen Rider Naj Sparrow, who was voted out as the first disaster option. Turns out wasn't the disaster, but is now working for the enemy team. So we can't get rid of Daiichi, unfortunately, as I was secretly hoping.
As soon as that smug, ponytailed looking mofo came back, I was like, God damn it, not him. But I got excited because I got to use the stupid fake names again, which is really what I'm here for.
Yeah. He's great because I hated him so much. He's the perfect like wrestling heel. It was like, you're doing such a good job at making me hate you, but oh my God, do I hate you. And he's in this episode too. He's like right about everything. He's like, ugh, you suck.
Because he can read the human condition.
He
just too
can.
Smart.
He's so good at it. We got a little intro, and then as soon as the intro is over, Sae is running. She's running down the road, and if you remember last episode, we found that Sae was maybe the disaster because she was holding a card that gave her disaster spy mission. So we see her, and she's running, and turns out her family has been tied up by another bomb, a fruit bomb.
And it's funny because so it went to that. And for whatever reason, I was like, I thought the fruit game was over from last episode. I thought it was like done, over. So when they were playing it again, I actually had a moment where I was like, am I accidentally rewatching the same episode again?
I had the same thing. If it wasn't for like all of the like big stuff at the beginning, with like the Giamato people, I would have for sure like checked that I was watching the right episode because I was like, wait, we're doing this again? But it's different this time, Toby, because the watermelon has 3 wires that come out of it.
It's a little more complicated. A little
bit harder. Sumi tells us that round 3 is bomb defusal, and the target is Sae's family. Of course, Sae told us about her family's sob story, and they run a restaurant, so they tied her family up. Sae seemingly though, still a bad person. So we don't care about her yet.
Yeah, let the family blow up.
Exactly. Screw them.
There's plenty of time.
If you remember also, so again, callback from last episode, Keiwa, when he's like on a mission to rescue his sister, steals the zombie buckle from Sai, just like rips it out of her hands, out of her driver. Sai basically like strangles Keiwa and forces him to give her the zombie buckle back, which was amazing.
She got shit to do. She like grabbed him by the throat and put him against the wall and was like, "I'm taking this back."
Yep. Pushed him back. He like hands it back real sheepishly. He puts his hands up like, "Oh, sorry." As soon as she gets it back, she gives them like, okay, you guys handle this area, and I'm gonna head out. So it's cool. She's just like, she's calling the shots at this point. Like, you do this, I'm going this way.
She got shit to do.
Yep. Ace and Keiwa are left alone to fight some Giamato. Ace clears a secret mission, which was be the first to defeat a Giamato. He looks at Keiwa and says, "Saving people isn't just a you thing."
That was my favorite early quote from him, because he basically punted a melon bomb miles away to save the people.
Yeah.
So it was just funny because it's a perfect Geats line. He's like, "You're not the only like decent person here, dude. Like, check yourself a little bit."
Yeah. You're just the one who makes a big deal about it. Yeah. I thought that, we had some really awesome like early Geats stuff in this episode. Geats, because of the secret mission, like 2 drops come down. So like there are 2 boxes. He opens the first one. He gets the boost buckle. So like obviously he's super happy about it. And then he kicks the second box at a Giamato, like kicks it into the Giamato's face, and it falls at Keiwa's legs. And he's like, "Yeah, I feel bad for you. If you want that one, Keiwa, you can have it." And the little froggy supporter watches this and he's like, "You're gonna let him get one over on you, Keiwa?"
He always gets him. He always tricks him, that crafty fox.
It's pretty great. And then Sai, of course, ran off, and while she is on her mission, Buffa intercepts her. So he grabs her with a vine, and as he's transforming, he's yelling at her about the zombie buckle. That's why he's attacking Sai. He wants to get his zombie buckle back.
He's very possessive of what keeps him coming back from the undead over and over and over.
Exactly. And the reason that he's after the zombie buckle and why he knows who has it and stuff like that is because of Daiichi. That was his first sort of advisor thing, was like, give Buffa what he wants. Let's go get him his zombie buckle back. The ID core that Daiichi had is also back, and he's a little bit like, yeah, I'm a little suspicious about how I got this back, trying to figure it all out. Yeah, the zombie buckle gets back in the hands of Buffa. He's once again sort of completed.
And it's like that whole scene is crazy, because he's like full rage mode, and we've never seen him like actually try to kill a Kamen Rider before, and he's really just trying to like murder the shit out of Sai. But it's crazy, or it makes me laugh because like she's pleading with him like, "Please stop beating the shit out of me. I just want to save my family."
Yeah.
And like they do the predictable, constantly used thing where like he's trying to walk away from her, and she like that desperation grab just grabs him by the foot, and they like zoom in on it like, no, she's still trying to stop him, but she can't stand. And I was like, of course I use this fucking shot. Like, it's like the best.
It is a little cliche. Yeah. Sai can't defend herself though, so Neon kind of sacrifices herself, like throws her in front of Buffa's big strike. Because like you said, he's going for the kill, like he's going in. He hits Neon so hard she like needs first aid. So that's the next thing we see, is they are back in the lounge, and Sai is kind of tending to Neon's wounds after saving her from Buffa.
I thought it was hilarious because like the crazy vine finisher he used like murders people, but because Neon's a main character, she has basically just like a twisted wrist and a little band-aid on her cheek, because like even though it's like his ultimate finisher, it was like just like a tiny scratch because it has to be.
She's got that plot armor for sure. Yeah, he it was also the like most intense he's ever been, like you were saying. Like he's just like, he has no remorse anymore about murdering anyone. And it's just like, yeah, I got a little scratch right here. Could you put a band-aid on it? Also, like, didn't give any indication of how they got away from him. Like, I know he got his zombie buckle, so he's probably happy, but like he was intent on murdering them, and he definitely had both of them where he wanted them.
And just stops. It's
It
just
just
like, okay.
stopped, walked away. Yeah. Um, Ace comes in to talk to Sai and Neon at this point and says letting Buffa go was a mistake, and he heard that Buffa has the zombie buckle back. And then he tells Neon that there's someone that he's gonna go meet, basically.
He has a special hot date, a
Yep.
hot lunch date.
With who?
The crazy producer kid, the weird nerdy one.
Yeah.
That's always there and ate the big roll facing southeast, which we learned in the past couple weeks. That I was like, wow, it's some like big crazy hidden mystery place, but instead, I guess it's just actual like good luck in Japanese culture to eat
Yeah,
like whatever meal that
great.
was while facing the lucky direction.
That's that we were talking about that. That's a really fun cultural thing that we obviously weren't aware of, but like it's fun to have learned that now because of Kamen Rider. The producer is I really like this scene. He's sitting at this big table. They have all this food on this kind of big spinning rack to move between them. Like it's so like overwrought. They could just have a smaller table, but like of course it's fancy because it's the producer guy. And they are kind of like feeling each other out about what to kind of talk about here. And Ace says he wants to talk about like Buffa barging in. He says it's not actually part of the show, right? And the producer basically is like, no, like there's a Giamato backer who's giving us some trouble, and she's supporting Buffa. And then the producer freezes, like stops eating, doesn't do anything when Ace uses the term interdimensional travelers. Ace is like, yeah, I figured. He's like, none of you are from this era, right? Because otherwise it'd be impossible, like the changing of the worlds and stuff. So
like,
the producer, go ahead, sorry.
No, it's fine. So like it's funny because like that whole scene, and then so I know we said there's multiple different names. So I'm gonna stick with the Genesis Goddess one for the sake of this conversation. It's really starting to give off like hardcore like religious creation vibes.
It is.
Where like, I mean, like me and others have joked like Geats is Jesus, or like Geats is God. But it kind of seems like Geats might be Jesus or God for the sake of the show and the comparison.
Because the producer turns this question around. Like, see, he doesn't answer it one way or another, but he says, like, the same could be said about you. It seems your skills aren't exactly that of the modern man. and Geats just leaves it as, like, I suppose neither of us are free of suspicion. So, yeah, I think, like, they're definitely setting up for all of the supporters are otherworldly, out of space and time beings, and Geats is similar to them, being that he is ancient and potentially unknowable. Like there clearly is something special about Ace, and it is like, definitely an ancient thing.
Yeah, so either like we'll call him like either like the religious part, like whatever deity you want to use for that, or flat out he's just like an alien. Like he's literally just an alien from a different dimension that is just like way too good to be with the humans and just destroys them every time.
Yeah, I'm very excited for them to start like plugging these things in like this, like talking about the creation goddess and stuff, because it's like, wow, are you actually gonna explain all of this? Because this is amazing. Definitely, like we've talked about a lot, like when the show was first starting, I'm just like, yeah, how much are they going to really like explain that they're recreating the world, and are they going to hand wave a lot of this stuff away? And it's like, no, it seems like we're just really going to get down into the nitty gritty of how this works, and that's incredible. So I'm very excited.
So with the goddess thing, in general, you and I try not to overlap episodes when we talk about things.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's a little more implied in 22, but I started thinking about in this one. Is it possible that Geats' mom is the Genesis goddess, and that's why he can't find her or see her or talk to her or wish for her?
Maybe, yeah.
Because with all that stuff and him being like, "Oh, you're otherworldly," or "You're not a modern man," and then like that tied with there's some special person that Sumi vaguely knew, like she knew like the game master before her or knew of her. They talked about a couple episodes ago.
Yep. Yep.
Like I feel like there's a weird tie where like that has to be the thing or close to the thing.
Yeah, I think she has to at least be, if she isn't the goddess of creation, she has to be like related in some way, or like have had a hand in her in the creation or something
Yeah.
of the goddess. Yeah, there's got to be something um that yeah ties him to the goddess in some way. But
Yeah, that's all.
yeah, I love that we're getting into all this. Daichi explains that he joined the dark side because, like Buffa, he'd do anything to realize his ideal world. And I think Buffa goes like, "We got a wise guy."
It's funny that like Buffa is still Buffa, even like he actively has people helping him now. Like it's not like when he's a Kamen Rider and they fight together, but not really. Like he literally has people on his side backing him, saying like, "We will help you murder them if you want to." And this part of his attitude is still like, "No, but fuck you." Like I just
Yeah,
want to do this by
screw you, I'm
myself.
on my own. Yeah. Yeah, he's got a team of people, and he definitely is just as standoffish as he has ever been, and not working together. Fantastic stuff. Truly, you can lead a Kamen Rider to water, but you can't make him work together.
And it was funny.
um,
It was funny with the in the greenhouse with the Pidgey scene too, because he's getting a vibe of how the greenhouse works now. So he's looking. He's like, "Oh, here's my ID core. This is where they go." He's like, "Good thing I didn't die because I wouldn't want to be like a plastic faced weirdo like these things that grow on trees." And he's
yeah,
hyper aware of the situation and like, "I don't want to do this shit. Thank God I didn't die."
and like in a perfect like Daiichi way too, because anyone else would see that and would be like horrified, right? Like, oh my god, that could have been me. Like, I can't believe this is happening. This is horrific. Like, why are we letting this happen? And with Daichi, it's just like, sucks to be them, but it's not me because I'm smarter than them. Yeah, like not at all repulsed by it. Like just working with it, understands it's just the system. It's very in character. Uh, Next up, we get like really the pivotal moment of this episode, I think. So, um, it's a scene that we get the first part of, and then we revisit later. So the first part is that Neon and Sae finally find the produce Giamato, the ones they've been tracking down, and before they run in to do the big fight, Sae shows Neon the spy card, the disaster spy card. She holds it up, and Neon has a moment where she's like, "That's," and then we instantly cut into fighting action. So we cut ahead, and like Ace and Kawa are there. We're fighting the Yamato. We don't know how that scene ended. So,
Well, especially with that too, like when Neon just takes off and she's like, "This is where they are. We need to go. We need to go stop them
yep,
to help your family." And Sai gives her a look of the weird friendship that they form now, where you can see confusion in her face of like, "Well, I know she's not good. Why is she like bombing in headfirst to go get these guys for me?" Like you can see
yeah,
like that. Like there's definite confusion of the situation at this point.
yep. They do a great job of that. I'm just like, because at this point, as we think we're aware, Neon is the okay one, Sai is the disaster. But yeah, like they do a good job of making it fit within that reality. And then of course you find out later. Sae at this point in the middle of the fight even claims that she's the disaster. She steals the slot buckle from Kawa and says, "I'm going to protect my family myself." Like, she's just going to fight her way in and kind of force her way through this, I guess. Buffa shows up
Like a real lone wolf. Like
yes,
a real lone wolf.
perfectly in line with her helmet. Buffa shows up to fight with them as well, but the producer intercepts him. The producer boy there has the vision driver, and we find out he is Kamen Rider Gazer.
I
In
was God.
Yeah, I was gonna say in the coolest Kamen Rider suit I think maybe we've seen, and definitely like everything about him was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, like the outfit looked cool. He was kind of irritating. He's like the dead aren't supposed to come back, or what
Yeah.
was it? It was like the dead aren't supposed to come back. And he's like, "This has no place in my reality." and he's just not fucking around. But like the dead should not exist in this realm, was what he said. But it's crazy
Yep.
because like his costume is the craziest thing ever. It visually looks cool. His weapon is these crazy orbs that like it's very video game like final boss villain thing where like he can't even get attacked during the fight because the orbs fly around him and make like shields to throw Buffa off, and like Buffa can't even get through him. And in this whole fight, he really just beats the shit out of Buffa.
Yeah.
Like he is OP as hell. He is the greatest. He's not fucking around.
He beats the shit out of Buffalo. So I guess first, yeah, when he first transforms, like, you know, the game master drivers we've seen so far have all like done really cool stuff, like said cool things. So this one is like Gazer, log in, and then it says innovation and control, which is cool. But yeah, like you said, with the floating orbs that he has, he basically like stands there like the perfect like final boss villain, and like in some cases even faces away from Buffa, and the orbs just do all the work. Like they put up force fields to block every punch that Buffa throws, and the kind of big culmination of their fight, like there's a big force field blocks a punch from Buffa. Kamen Rider Gazer, like he kind of like dusts himself off a little bit, and then he lets the force field go just so he can grab Buffa's fist, and then he punches Buffa in the gut so hard that the Buffa like flies 100 feet into the air and then falls to the ground. Gazer walks over, stands on top of him, and then
Like a true wrestling heel.
True wrestling heel.
He even rubbed his feet on him. He rubbed like the dirt off his feet on Buffa's back.
Yep, standing directly on him, just insult to injury, and then he levitates in the air, and he does this like huge like delete where he literally air bombs Buffa. Like bombs come out, he does this big final move, and explodes all over top of Buffa. Some of the coolest fighting like I've ever seen in Kamen Rider.
And it was crazy too because like there was one point where when Buffa charges him, it like kicks mud up on his face. So he's like monologuing with Buffa while Buffa's trying to attack him. He's just chilling. And he just pulls like a handkerchief out of his pocket and like dabs the mud off his face because he's so like nonplussed about the situation. Where he's just like, you got my mask dirty. And he just fucking chills and stands there while the orbs do the work.
Yeah, when he cleans off the mask was when I was like, and this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. just amazing. Just like, yeah, I'm gonna dab this this dirt here and continue to evil villain monologue at you. It's crazy that he's fighting like literally a zombie person, like a man who is trying to kill the main characters and actively becoming a zombie, yet he still somehow looks like the bad guy. So then, yeah, just to finish up their little fight, even after the big giant air bomb delete, Buffa is somehow still alive. And Buffa quips like, I can do this all day, but he's clearly near death. So Kamen Rider Gazer says, you've overcome death twice now. So, of course, the first time and then again now. And says, it can no longer be considered fortuitous fiction. Your existence is reality. And he walks off. So basically, it's like, you've earned it. Incredible. After all of that, he's just like, okay, well, if you're still alive, then you're good. You can stay here.
Maybe we'll do this again later. We'll see.
Yeah. So that's kind of one thing that's happening, kind of interwoven in this fight. Cut back across to kind of the Ace crew, what's going on with them. Basically, Ace and Sai are kind of both fighting along to sort of get to the Produce monsters. And again, really awesome choreography here. One thing I liked about this a lot is we find out that Ace calls his bike Foxy.
I was so mad about that because as soon as he's like, come on, Foxy, we got this. And I was like, how fucking stupid is this? That's the name of the fucking
I liked
Fox bike car.
Because Ace, if you remember, has a history of loving inanimate objects. Like he always like tickles the little spider phone and tells it thank you, and he loved the eggs when they had to carry him around. Like he definitely, this is in character for him to name it Foxy.
That is true. And like during the rap-in fight, whatever you want to call it, Sai got the boost buckle from doing the stupid slot machines. And I think that armor looks the worst with the boost stuff added because the helmet sticks out so much with the weird light blue it is.
It's weird.
That, like
looking.
the red armor for the boost looks shitty. But the boost buckle did still blow up and hit KO at the end as it's supposed to.
As it should, yeah. I think it was her. She basically did like the V trigger with it. Like she did like a rising knee strike on one of the Giamato, if I remember correctly. So she did cool stuff with the boost buckle. It just, yeah, she doesn't like the wolf helmet just looks weird with the boost buckle. Let's see. So they have their little fight. Finally, Sae, gets back to her family, has figured out which wires to cut. There are 30 seconds left. She cuts blue. Then she's getting ready to cut yellow, but the bomb ties her up first. So it lashes out with some more strands. The
which
time's
somehow it
counting
didn't
down.
do, which it didn't do during KO's sister part. So now just adding some bullshit extra.
Exactly. Yeah. Just the rules of this whole game have been ridiculous. But Neon rushes in and at the literal last second, 1 second on the clock, cuts the yellow wire and saves the family. Now, at this point, of course, question marks come up. You're wondering, who's saving who's the disaster, what's going on. But my biggest point as of this moment here is like Sae's family, like of course they like celebrate with Sae, like, oh my god, we're alive, we love you. They ignore Neon completely, and she just saved their life. Like they don't interact with her. They don't even like say like, oh my god, thank you for saving our life. Like Sae started to try to save your life, but Neon's the one who did it, and they just let Neon just sort of like leave without saying a word to her. And at that point, I was like, well, fuck all you and your family. It's like, what's going on? Can you imagine?
Rude. No manners.
So rude. So at this point, like, as far as the show wants you to believe, like, we're pretty certain that Sae is the disaster. She even admitted that she was. So we have our vote. And it's unanimous. Sae even voted for herself as the disaster. So, she walks off to go collect her things. And then
they played a lullaby-ish version of the theme under this whole scene as well, to make it very artsy.
They love doing that.
The Trust Last, what the hell the song's called?
Yeah, Trust Last.
Yeah, they're rocking
That's cool.
in the background, but it's very artsy. Like,
I love when they can break that out in big moments. So seemingly we've got the disaster, except Neon goes after Sae. And we finally get our flashback basically to what happened earlier in that scene. So Sae showed Neon the card, and turns out Neon had been the disaster. And Sae was basically saying, like, I found this in your room. So Sae decided to basically fall on the sword and say that she was the disaster. And Neon's like, why did you do that for me? Like, why didn't you out me? Why didn't you tell people that I was the disaster? And Sae's reasoning basically is that she believes in true love, the love of her family, and even if it's not hers, she wants Neon to be able to find true love for herself. So she's like, "I love you, kid. You're gonna get out there and deceive everybody."
Well, so the crazy thing is, so to wrap it around one last time, like with the way Kingdom Hearts feels in stories. Like it was never supposed to happen, and all of a sudden it happened. So during that talk, they also say like, Saya's like, I saw you in the beginning throw the fruit bomb at Kawa and Geats.
Yeah,
and you and I rewatched that scene. We looked around, and there was definitely no one else in that picture. But somehow, all of a sudden, they reshot it or just took the clip they filmed that day, and they're like, "Hey, here's a scene that you had no privy or information of." It probably didn't even show up when we filmed it the first time. But by the way, like, here's Neon throwing the bomb at them that you never saw. And that's how they cheat story in. They just make up shit and they just go, oh yeah, this works now.
Yeah, a lot of like movies and stuff do that where it's like you go back and it's like it's a scene you saw before, but then it lasts like 5 seconds longer. And look, a character like peeks out from behind a corner. Oh, they were there the whole time. I definitely prefer the version where it's like it was in plain sight the whole time, and if you were just smart enough, you could have gotten it. But like, there's almost no shows and movies and stuff that actually can pull it off that way, because that's a lot harder to write, of course. But yeah, like that was a little cheap. I'm just like, and she was there, she did it, she did the thing, It was me, Austin. It was me all along. But I was kind of fine with that because it was, you know, a pretty big twist that, and they did a good job this episode of like, you can go back and recontextualize a lot of the looks that Neon and Sae gave each other, and you realize that like, oh, it was actually reverse of what I thought it was, and that's pretty cool. That like, it was like their sort of hesitation was like thinking the other one was gonna turn on them at any second, and that's pretty neat. I liked all that. And not to toot my own horn, but I called it last episode that Neon would actually be the disaster. So basically, I'm Kamen Rider genius, I think.
There's no proof. There's no proof of that. There's no way we could double check if you said that or not.
There's no way we could go back to the last episode and just like replay a portion of it where I said, "Now I'm calling it now."
This sounds made up.
It couldn't have done that now. So yeah, again they vote out Sae. She's not the disaster, and our girl Neon is the disaster, which is wild.
That crazy cat.
We get some approval ratings here. Geats is at 37. Tycoon and Nago are tied at 28, and Buffa is now a part of the approval ratings at 7%.
I think it's stupid that Buffa counts, but I guess that's fair.
Well, like they're advertising him.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
if he wasn't there from the beginning, he shouldn't start getting votes now. But
I agree, but it's definitely like a reality TV thing to shoehorn him in as he starts to invade. But he's definitely gonna pull a like Ross Perot, where he's just gonna like leak the votes from the person who should actually win, but not actually win himself. And then to close out the episode, Neon confronts the game master. She says that Sae found this in my room, and she says, "I think you put it there." And
he's giggling and laughing and dancing like he always does. And
yeah,
he's doing a good reality TV.
He is. Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, I thought you'd be able to handle it." But yeah, we definitely.
And one of his lines too was, "But everything came together for our little spoiled kitten, didn't it?" So he's just like giving her shit for no reason.
Yeah, I wonder if they've had like a weird antagonistic relationship the whole time now behind the scenes, because it did seem like that wasn't the first time maybe they'd sort of butted heads about stuff. And you definitely get to see a different version of Neon there too, which is great. So
I'm starting to get mad now. Starting to hawk out a little bit.
So I'm very excited about seeing full on spy Neon and what the downfall of that all is.
She's ready to win now. She's remotivated to get that W and get that love.
Get that dub. So what are your thoughts about Geats episode 21?
I'm glad they finally solved the disaster mystery, because I feel like now she can lean into more of like we're in the final three is always the same three. That's almost always been now. But now they actually have to lean into she either needs to expose herself as a disaster, or like she needs to pull some crazy shit off for this final match to get away with it and win on the sneak.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're going into this next episode knowing who the disaster is, like for sure, instead of taking a full episode doing the like, who of the three is it going to be? We know they're all our favorites. Who's going to be the disaster? This is a fun setup. I like this. So now we get to basically see whether she can sink or swim, in fooling people. So that's a fun little twist on how I would have maybe guessed it would have been going.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, overall fun. I had some hesitation with the whole reality TV, arc of the show here, but I am very in now. Like I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. There was a lot of fun stuff happening. It was very dense. There's a lot that went down. So very, very cool stuff. All right, folks. Well, I think that's gonna do it for us for this episode. Thanks as always for joining us to talk about Kamen Rider Geats. If you want to send us an email, if you have additional things to say, you can do so. Send those over to cast@KamenRiderSucks.com. You can check out all of our past episodes, either in video form by going to KamenRiderSucks.com, or going to YouTube and searching for the Kamen Riders or the channel Pretty Decent, and you'll find them all there. Or you can check out the audio version in your favorite podcast app. Once again, just search for the Kamen Riders. And you can also keep up with us when we aren't talking about Kamen Rider on the internet. Toby, where can the people find you?
On Twitter, it's at Wife of Tobes, Tobes. And you can find me on YouTube at Tobes Plays, playing all sorts of video games.
Like Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts is on temporary hiatus as there's no games right now. So I need the games to come out.
That's why you've brought it to our podcast.
Yeah.
I can't do it on my channel.
Somewhere.
I need my outlet.
I need my outlet. Zeta Flare, man. It's all about the Zeta Flare.
Donald Duck my ass. And for me, you can find me on Twitter and Tumblr and all the various places at Pretty Dece Josh. It's PrettyDecejosh. So yeah, send me a message, reply to me. I like talking to all of you. So that'll do it for us. We'll be back next week for Kamen Rider Geats episode 22. Until then, don't get found out as the mole. I guess that's a good rule to live by.
Don't be a disaster. Be a fox.
Have a great week, everybody. Peace.
I'm taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a